Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Staecha and I go by Namaste on Instagram. If you're watching for the very first time, please consider subscribing to my channel if you are interested in Japan related content. So in today's video, I wanted to do something that was different from what I usually do. Normally, I would bring you guys videos that talks about my personal experience being a black woman in Japan, a Jamaican in Japan, whichever of the two brought you here. However, in today's video, I wanted to share with you the experiences of other black people who are living in Japan. If you're interested, stay tuned and keep on. Okay, so let's get started.
Hi guys, hello people, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. My name is Ila and I go by Crazyllah on my Instagram and my YouTube channel. I am from Congo in Central Africa and I've been in Japan for 4 years now. Today I'm very pleased to answer two questions that has been asked by Queen Staecha.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am from Jamaica and I've been in Japan for 5 years now.
My name is Destinee. I'm from Philadelphia, but I live most of my adult life in Georgia. And I have been in Japan for a year. It'll be 2 years, September 2021.
My name is Destinee. I'm from Jamaica and I've been in Japan for 2 years.
So, of all the countries in the world, why Japan?
I came to Japan because there was an opportunity here for a job. I was 25 at the time and it was something that I thought I could do then and I probably wouldn't have had the chance to do if I didn't do it then. But the opportunity came and some friends were already here and they suggested I do it, so I did it.
The military brought us here, the US Navy. Thank you.
Actually, I did not choose Japan specifically, but Japan chose me. After my bachelor's degree in my home country, I decided I needed to do a master's in a foreign country and I started applying for different scholarships that were available, and amongst them were one called Abe Initiative by JICA, by the Japanese government actually, and I was accepted in that scholarship, so that's how I found myself in this country.
Because Japan was the only place that was available for me to travel to and to experience at the time. And I wanted to have a career in fashion, and Japan is the right fashion country of the world, so I just thought it would be a great opportunity.
What was your impression before coming to Japan? And what's your impression now that you are living here?
I didn't have much of an impression about Japan before I came. I didn't know much about Japan besides some things that I had seen on documentaries about old fashioned life or some technological advances that they had here. But being here, I actually realized that those technological advances are not used too often in everyday life. So my impression of Japan in general is that it's a good society to live in. It's safe, it's convenient, it's really easy to live here.
Before coming to Japan, I didn't really know much about Japanese culture or anything like that. I did do some reading and stuff, and I think I was just full of adrenaline and I was so excited to come here, so I wasn't really like thinking too deeply about it. When I got here, I wouldn't say I got like culture shock, but it was just the major difference in terms of Japan and Jamaica, in terms of like the people and how they operate, and just the country on a whole. Is a very clean country. They're very quiet people, and they were so friendly to me without even knowing me. So yeah.
So my first impression upon coming to Japan was really nice. I watched YouTube videos about the culture and things like that, and now that I'm here, I love it, except that part.
Before coming to Japan, my impression of it was that it's a country with high infrastructure, high technology, and a country that has a very good quality of electronics, of cars, because all over my country in Congo, the best cars, the best electronics are from Japan. So I knew Japan through the brand made in Japan somehow, and I also knew Japan through the manga, because I still am a die-hard fan of Naruto. So basically that's how I knew about Japan, and that's everything I knew about it before coming. And now that I'm here, I think I'm even more impressed, because it's a country that's has a lot of discipline, high discipline, and people are really hard worker, and that's how they build their country. So I'm even more impressed by the infrastructure, by the high technology, by artificial intelligence development, and even more.
What's it like being Black in Japan? Do you think you're treated any differently? If yes, in what ways?
You obviously stand out, and you get major stares, like people just stare at you. I don't like people staring at me. My friends probably think that's not true, because they think I'm so full of myself and I love myself, but I like staring at myself. Doesn't mean I like people staring at me that way. But yeah, you get a lot of stares. It can be uncomfortable sometimes. There's low-key racism, so like sometimes you'll be on the train, and if you sit beside someone, sometimes they'll get up and change their seats, or they just don't want to be close to you. Sometimes I don't know how to read that, if it's like, are you scared or are you just shy? Like, I don't know. So I try not to assume what they're thinking. There's sometimes when, like, and I guess it's because of the language barrier, but there are some little things in Japanese that, you know, you can understand and stuff like that. But it's like when you try to, I'm studying Japanese, so it's like sometimes when you try to talk to them in Japanese, it's like they act like they don't understand what you're saying, even though you're speaking their language. But it's just like, wait, is she speaking Japanese? Or so it's just kind of awkward. It's like, okay, so I try to speak in English and then they don't understand. So it's like, what do you want from me? You know?
Being Black in Japan has been pretty normal for me. You do get a little bit more attention by just being Black. You do get some stares, but for me, I haven't viewed it in a negative way. I think it's more about how you respond to it. No one has overtly been negative towards me merely because I've been Black. I haven't felt that way. Yeah, you are treated a little bit differently because you're a foreigner. You're not held to the same standard, I guess, you as Japanese people are. You're not expected to know everything. Depending, well, in my experience, I should say. Yeah, I think I have life a little bit easier being a foreigner.
So because I live on a military base, I don't feel like I'm treated differently by the Japanese. However, I'm not the majority here. Like, you know, this is not the majority here. So, yes and no.
Being Black in Japan is struggling to have your black castor oil, is struggling to have plantains. So basically all the products and kind of food that Black people like, that Black people have in their country, you don't have it here. So basically for me, that's like being Black in Japan, is struggling to have things that you thought were basic. Being Black in Japan is also being stared at. When you go in some remote places in Japan, you're being stared at, and sometimes people come to you to touch your hair, to ask you questions. It's nothing really harmful, but yeah, people are really curious sometimes when you go around. And basically I would say I am treated differently, but not only because I'm Black, but also because I'm just a foreigner. Because in Japan, when you're a foreigner, no matter what kind of effort you do to be, let's say, to be integrated somehow, even if you speak this perfect Japanese language and you behave perfectly like a Japanese person who would behave, you would forever stay in the foreigner box. So I think at some point you will be treated differently because you're not Japanese, as simple as that.
Okay, so now that you've spoken about your experience as a Black person in Japan, what's the one thing, or what are the things that you love the most about living in Japan?
I love the food. I love food. Like, food is life. Like, food.
What's your favorite Japanese food?
Coco's. Coco's is my favorite. Top tier. No, it's not top tier, but I mean, it's cheap and it's good and it fills you up. So I love Coco's. Oh, and Craftsman, they got the burgers on lock. Okay, Craftsman is bomb. Like, okay, it's bomb. That's it.
What I love the most is the safety and the convenience. Because of where I'm coming from, that didn't always feel safe. So that was a big benefit or a big positive. And it's really convenient. It's first world country.
There are many things I love about Japan and the fact that I'm here, but first is the security level, because I'm from Congo, and in my country you don't mess up with walking around when it's very late, or like going back home when it's like 1 a.m. because it's not exactly safe. But in Japan, I'm enjoying coming back late. I'm enjoying the fact that there's no thieves around. There are no really, it's not like there's no violence in the streets and stuff like that. So that's something I really, really love about Japan, and I'm grateful about it as a Congolese person and a woman. The other thing I love the most about Japan is the development level. I'm very admirative of their the speed of development, because remember, it's a country that was like bombed up during the World War II, and it was really down in terms of GDP, in terms of infrastructure. But when you look at the high development that they have, all they have been constructing, the industry, the buildings, and everything that is like settled down right now has been done in less than 100 years. And back home, I'm the kind of person, I mean, back home in my country, we think that a country can only be developed through their natural resources, through the gold, the cobalt, and all the diamonds they have, you know, as natural resources. But Japan has none of that. Still, now it's one of the most powerful economic countries in the world. So I respect that about Japan, and I love it because they use their brain and they use their discipline to work for their country and to still be the best, I can say.
Peace of mind, mainly. I feel safe in Japan. I don't feel like people work against me in the sense of me achieving my goals. There isn't this like fight to tear me down. Not saying that everyone is like that in Jamaica, but sometimes you do have people like that. If they see you like going up the ladder, they try to tear you down. I don't know why we behave that way, but in Japan I don't get that feeling. I feel free to be myself, to express myself. And yeah, I can walk at 3 a.m. in the morning and not like watch my back for anything. Yeah, just those little things, you know, it's the little things that I appreciate about Japan.
What do you dislike the most about living in Japan?
The weather. Oh my god, the weather is like, how do you describe it? It's moody. It's like me on my period. It's like one day, like this moment you're okay, the next moment you're crying. It's like this moment it's sunny and bright and hot, the next moment it could just start snowing. It's that crazy, like in a split second. I hate the weather. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. So yeah, that's the main thing I really hate about Japan.
It can be very isolating in Japan, depending on how you came to be here, and depending on your situation, it can be very isolating. For example, if you're living out in the country, or your job is very demanding, you don't make real friends at work very often, but you can meet people. It's hard also to make Japanese friends because in my case, the language barrier, and just whether or not you feel they're being genuine.
There are many things I don't like about Japan. I can't really have time to mention them here. I don't have time to mention all of them here, but I would say overall is the xenophobia. Keep in mind, Japan is a country that was close to itself for about 2,000 years because it's an island. So everything that is not Japanese is very much foreign for them. And all human beings have the tendency to reject everything that's different, right? So it's the same case in Japan. They don't really handle differences. They don't really know how to behave with someone different, with different customs, with different behaviors. So it tends to become a xenophobia, and that's what I don't really like about Japan. Some other things I don't like about Japan is thinking in the box. Like, the basic Japanese person don't really think out of the box. They don't really adapt to the situation. They do things by the book, and that sometimes annoys me because, well, I'm a Congolese person. You know, you hustle, you find solution. You don't really have time, or you don't have the opportunity to like be by the book, because you have to survive at some point. So you do your best. There's nothing like that here. It's either A, B, it's either black or white. There's no gray zone, and I don't like that about Japan. I'm a rule breaker, I think.
The language barrier. I do not like the language barrier. I can't read none of the signs. They look like stick figures. Some of them be looking like they be holding an umbrella. It be looking like LLU on top of each other. I don't know. But I don't like the language barrier, and I can't read the signs. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Since you live in Japan, what do you miss the most about your home country?
I miss my food so much. Girl, when I'm telling you, my cassava leaves, my plantains, my sakasaka, my ndunda, these are just like vegetables from our country. I miss them a lot because I discovered that I'm the kind of person who does not really adapt to foreign food when it's not close to mine. So I basically love Mexican food, Brazilian food, everything that's like food from all the countries from the southern hemisphere basically. But Asian food, overall Asian food, I'm really not a fan of it. I try my best, but yeah, I really miss food from my country. Apart from food, I also miss the fact that I don't play music loud. So back home, when it's like Saturday, Sunday, all my family members and I, we just play music very loud. We put speakers. Sometimes we play gospel, sometimes we just play other kind of music, and we dance around. But you can't really do that in Japan. Not only they don't like the noise this much, but also the walls are not really sound isolated or soundproof. So I really miss music. I really miss playing music out loud.
The food. Chick-fil-A, Waffle House. What else? I mean, we could go on and on here, but Chick-fil-A was the first thing that came to mind. Well, barbecue, okay, like all of that. Greens, yams, potatoes, ham, turkey, legs, all of that.
I miss how warm and relaxed people are. I miss how life is kind of relaxed. How, yeah, it's completely opposite in terms of isolation. You're not usually alone, and you're usually able to be in close contact with your group of friends throughout any given week. For example, you would be in touch with them. Of course, my loved ones, my family, who aren't in Japan, so they're really far away. I miss that. And life would be much better when you have more money in Jamaica. So that would be something I would say I miss. Okay. Not being able to enjoy life with more resources.
The food. I miss the food. I mean, I miss my friends and my family, but you know, you can, like, you know, technology, you can video chat. It's not the same, but it helps. But the food, you can't Zoom eat, you know? So I miss the food a lot.
What would you consider your best and your worst experience while living here?
I don't have a worst experience, but the best experience is feeling like I'm welcomed. Maybe because I look different, and a lot of Japanese people are not used to seeing like brown people a lot, so they always stop us on the train or when we're out. They want to touch my hair. Like, I feel like that's cool sometimes when I want to be bothered.
Probably my best experiences maybe traveling to different areas. For example, Kinkakuji, and you see the Golden Castle or the Golden Temple. Teaching my students and having them graduate and hearing how they felt about you and the experiences they had with you are a really memorable thing. Worst experiences, there aren't very many bad experiences, I would say. It never feels great paying that much in taxes, but you do see where it goes. Maybe I've had bad experiences in class, but nah, learning experiences more than bad experiences.
Best experience, I would say, is finally being able to launch my business. That's like my joy. I finally get to do what I love, and it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't like I didn't have to like go take out a loan, a business loan, and do all these stuff, and you know, it wasn't like what do you say, how do you describe that, stressing. I did everything out of my own pocket, and it was like a little smooth. I got help from friends, like it was just a lot of support and everything. So I would say my business is one of the best moments. Worst moments, I went ice skating with my friends in December, and I kept falling, and every time I fell I would use my right hand as a support to cushion the fall, and I ended up having a fractured wrist, and then I had to wear a cast for 2 weeks, and it was my right hand, and my hand had to be in an L shape like this for 2 weeks. I could barely do anything for myself. I live alone. It was just the worst 2 weeks of my life. I felt like I was going to go crazy after the first hour of having that cast on my hand. So yeah, that's my worst experience.
Well, until now, my worst experience in Japan has been trying to find an apartment and not being able to find the place you like, or to have the place you like because you're foreigner, because you don't speak Japanese, or because you don't have enough income for them. So it's kind of logical in all other countries as well, but this has been worse for me because it just reminded me that I am a foreigner, and sometimes you just forget you're different from people, right? Until they tell you that you're actually different and they just don't want you around. And my best experience so far was the fact that I had a major surgery back in 2018. I wasn't like sick, but it was a very serious surgery. And I stayed in the hospital for about 2 to 3 days. I know, you're wondering why being sick is my best experience, but you'll understand. So, after the surgery, when I was going out of the hospital, I was asking for my bills and stuff like that. And then, you know, I was expecting a high amount of bill to pay, and then they told me that you don't have to pay anything. I was like, what? Wait, what? So yeah, you don't have to pay anything because your national health insurance covered 70% of your expenses, and your scholarship covered 30% left. So you basically have to pay 0 yen. And I was so happy. I was like, okay, I love this country. I had a major surgery, everything went well, and I didn't pay anything, and this is really something I'm grateful about.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate your overall experience living here in Japan?
I would rate it at 8. If we didn't have, you know, the lockdown and all those other things, I would rate it a 10. I like the fact that I could send my kids to the bathroom by themselves, and I don't have to worry about is somebody going to flush them down the toilet or kill them while they in the stall. Like, I really love the fact that this place is safe, and I see a lot of little children like in the grocery store by themselves with their little cell phones and their little grocery list, and I just love that. It's really safe for children. Overall,
I would rate my experience in Japan as a 7. First, because 7 is my favorite number, I think, and second, because I don't really know how to give a lowest number. It would be ungrateful, and I don't want to give a highest number because there are still so many things that I really don't appreciate in Japan. So yeah, in my opinion, it's gonna be a 7.
I would say 8. The 2 points that I took off is just in terms of basically what I said in the beginning about like the stares and the awkward behavior sometimes. I mean, it's for me, it's really the minority that behaves that way towards me. It's not the majority. It's just those little few people.
Probably an 8, or yeah, I'd give it an 8. Just for the things I mentioned, being so convenient, being really safe, having the luxury of being able to leave your door open, or just going anywhere at any hour of the night. Yeah, and how easy it is to just get around.
I would say it's very, very hard to find friends in Japan, especially if you're coming from countries that are really, really warm. You know, basically, Japanese people, it's difficult for you to get as close as being your best friend, because they keep what they call tatemae. They keep like a public face. It's very difficult to go through that wall, even with years. They will keep showing you a face that is a face for the public. So at some point you remain someone who's foreign for them. It's very difficult to find friends. And I'm not talking friends that you go with to have dinner, because that's really easy. I'm talking about friends who can have your back when you have a problem, someone who can, you know, really help you, someone who can tell you the truth when you have a confusion, someone who's not afraid. You know, best friend vibes. It's really difficult to have that kind of friends in Japan. So far, I've never had a Japanese friend. I have friend, but like very close to me. No, there's no way. It's just very hard, because we're very different culturally. We don't have the same definition of loyalty or friendship and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's really, really hard. Maybe from their side as well, and from our side as foreigners as well.
If I was a friendly person, I mean, I think I'm friendly. Am I friendly?
I think you are.
I think I'm a like semi-friendly
I think
person.
you're selectively social.
I am selectively social. Okay, I can accept that. Since I live on a military base, it's kind of easy to relate with some of the people that are already here. Most of their husbands or wives are deployed or deployable, and so we just kind of make friends because we're neighbors. Outside of that, I would say like social media has really, really helped. That's how I met Staecha, social media. But I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I think making friends is about a 5, depending on how open you are to making friends and how willing the person is to receive you.
Honestly, it's not very hard for me to make friends here. I have quite a few amount of Japanese friends, mainly people that I work with. I have a very good relationship with my coworkers, and I don't know, they just want to hang out with me outside of the job. So I don't find it very difficult to meet Japanese people, because to meet friends as Japanese people, because I feel like once they are confident to speak to you, then it's like that sets the ball rolling. So I don't really have a problem with that.
That depends a lot on you and maybe where you are. It could be very easy to make friends in a very rural area. It could also be easy to make friends in an urban area. It just depends on how you treat people and how welcoming you are. If you do speak Japanese, it could be very beneficial. It make it a lot easier for you to make friends who are Japanese. It would be a lot easier for you to get around. There's a lot of online opportunities to meet people as well. So it really just depends on you.
What advice would you give someone who is looking to live or to move to Japan?
I would say if I could do this again, I would really just try to learn their language before I get here so I could communicate better. I do know that they take English in school, so they can speak a little bit of English, so most of them understand and could communicate back, but I just feel like they choose not to. So if I was coming here, I would just try to learn their language before getting here.
So first I would say it's important to have an open mind, because the culture in Japan is so different from many other cultures, especially Western cultures. So yeah, have an open mind, and I don't want to say don't listen to other person's opinion, but don't take it as gospel. I would say come here, create your own experience, and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, and remember, you have the control over your own life. So if it's a case where you come here and it's not what you expected, then just try other options. Like, it's not that serious.
I'd give you this advice wherever you go: be open and try to learn as much as you can. Try to be as flexible as you can to enjoy and absorb everything that is around you. Be open and accepting of people in your life. Be cautious as well. Don't leave yourself too vulnerable, but try to absorb it and enjoy it.
My only advice that I will give to someone who's trying to come to Japan is to learn the language. No matter how much you love the culture, no matter how much you think of yourself as someone who's speaking a major important language, like you speak the perfect American English or you speak the perfect French, in Japan it's not really useful, because everything in Japan is in Japanese. Life, love, the air, everything around you will be in Japanese. So don't come here thinking that because you speak a major important language in the world like English or French, you will be safe or things are gonna be easy for you. It's not gonna be easy here. So learn the language before coming to Japan. Try at least basic things like where is this, where is that, or good morning, or how can I find this and that. It's very, very important. I think this is pretty much it for me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Staecha channel, and I think, yeah, peace.
Japan is great overall, even though, I mean, I don't think there's any perfect country, any perfect person, any perfect job. So as much as how, like what I spoke about before with the standoffishness and the low-key racism or whatever, overall Japan is great. Highly recommend. So yeah, just be open-minded and have your own experience.
Japan is here. They are reasonably welcoming to people who want to come here. If you don't do anything crazy or illegal, you'll have a great time in Japan. Just be open, and your responses to things can determine what the results are.
So this was really fun, you know. I really enjoyed this. You're like my bodysuit. I really enjoyed.
You're so crazy.
No, seriously, thank you so much, Staecha, for having me. I absolutely love your channel. Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Woo! I'm so excited. I felt like I just want to scream in the inside, you know. So yeah, thank you guys so much. That's all.
You're a YouTuber. Plug your...
Oh yeah, how could I forget? You know, shameless plug, Destinee Knox in the YouTube search bar. Hit me up, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.